Hey, what is up everyone? Killian here bringing you another video. And this time, y'all saw my 101 Berserker video regarding glyphs, crystals, and just overall the new skills. Today I kind of wanted to take it down a little, a level, and go over the basics of Berserker PvP. This is the basics, guys. If you are an intermediate Berserker, if you know how all of your skills act, check out the video. You might still learn something, but for the most part, this is for the beginner Berserkers. So, couple things to note. Berserkers are a pseudo-low mobility, very high burst, charge-oriented PvP class. A lot of our focus is on either really, really heavy hits by completely overcharging, like this, or by going for a lot of KDs. KDs are knockdowns. It's kind of up to you in terms of playstyle, but most veteran Berserkers go for more of a knockdown controlled class that know when to burst at the right times. So, one common misconception about Berserkers, or one common question about Berserkers in general, is, does overcharging increase damage? Yes. Every single tick of overcharge increases the damage. The maximum overcharge is going to be 4 stacks on Thunderstrike and 5 stacks on Cyclone. This means ticks of damage. So the moment you see that minus 965 health 4 times, that is the moment that you can release that for maximum damage output. Keep in mind, you do not strictly want to overcharge just for the damage. You want to make sure to keep them KD'd, knocked down. So, here we go. Let's start with kind of the basics. Accept the duel, please. So, with Berserker, Terra PvP is on a whole nother level. Since with it being a real action combat game, mobility is a different factor. Aiming is another factor. It's not tab target. You're not going to be sitting there going, oh, I see this one person, let's just lock onto them and my character will automatically follow exactly how I want to hit them. No, you have to hit on the person, unless there are certain cones in which deal damage, like as you can see there, but it's minimal amounts. It's still a stagger. So, first things first, Thunderstrike, your bread and butter skill. This is the skill that you should be using pretty much every single time to start off anything, to do really anything. This is the skill you're going to be spamming the most as Berserker. Thing to note about Thunderstrike, it is a guaranteed KD. Guaranteed in terms of, as long as they don't have a skill on that prevents knockdowns or a shield on that will prevent knockdowns, it will knock down them. It completely will. You can single tap it just like that, which is a great way to start off chains. You can fully overcharge it, and you still get your knockdown. Okay. Other skills that are guaranteed knockdown. Flatten. Flatten is a guaranteed knockdown. You want to use this typically, you don't want to use this to start off a KD chain. You want to do this as a follow-up after the Retaliate is down. What Retaliate is whenever the enemy character hops up after you knock down them. As you see there, she jumps pretty much right back up. Whenever they use Retaliate, they get a 2-second buff, which you cannot KD them again. So what this means, guys, like here, typically, you never want to do this. You never want to Thunderstrike and then go for a Staggering Flatten. Because guess what? They did not get knocked down again because they had their Retaliate buff. Alright? What you typically want to do, just jaunt after I knock down you. What you typically want to do is, after you land the KD, they're going to Retaliate, they're going to jaunt away. This is whenever you chart. Okay. Stand still! And then you KD them again. My aim is 10 out of 10, guys. So, after you KD them a second time, their Retaliate's going to be down. Once Retaliate is down, that is whenever you want to capitalize on basically their mistake. If you can force a KD after their Retaliate, this is whenever you put them into a KD chain. This is where you deal the maximum amount of damage as a Berserker. Hold on, the duel's going to end in 10 seconds, so before we do that, Yes, other classes have KDs as well. So once this duel ends, we'll restart the duel. This is strictly going into the basics of KD chaining. I'll probably have a future video with more in-depth. But, for example, this. She's going to retaliate, jaunt away, and then I'm going to get my second KD, and now she has no retaliate. In this time, I can deal as much damage as I want to, keeping her in a KD, which I missed there with my raise, because that skill aids to fucking aim. But basically, that's when you can do your burst. That's whenever you can maintain damage. That's whenever you're not going to be having to worry about them escaping you. You're in the process of dealing lots of damage, applying pressure to them. They're not going to be able to heal their team. They're not going to be able to be peeling for their team if it's a DPS class. They're just going to be at your whims to be able to basically take it. Alright, next up, getting out of the KDs. Staggering. Possibly the most important aspect of Berserkers is learning how to stagger. Stagger means whenever the enemy flinches. You see how she flinches right there, guys? How she basically she can't do anything whenever that's happening. If you do it fast enough, they're basically locked here to where they really can't do much. But one thing with that, it's only on your first auto attack. What this means is you need to reset your auto. Here comes another key aspect of Berserker PvP. Axe block. Most amateur Berserkers think of this as strictly oh, this is my defensive skill. This makes it to where I don't die. No. Honestly, the defense part is great. I would say, but that's about 30% of the potential of this skill. The main reason this skill is amazing is because it will cut animations or reset your attack, your single attack. So right here, if I auto attack her once, right, she gets staggered. If I auto attack twice in a row, look, she's not getting staggered, guys. There's no point to that. So what you have to do, and this is something that you should practice. You should practice pretty much the entire time while if you're AFK, if you're doing whatever. Heck, if you watch my stream, I'll be doing this all the time. I'll just be doing that. Because that's what that is that's auto-attacking for the stagger, resetting it with your axe block, and then auto-attacking again. This is huge control against players in PvP. And especially if you're trying to annoy healers in 3 versus 3. So, along with that, what axe block does for you is it provides an animation cancel out of a lot of the skills that force you into a long-standing animation. So, everyone's familiar with, if you're leveling a Berserker, if you're a low-level Berserker, if you're just hitting 65 as a Berserker, you're very familiar with this. You can't move, you can't do anything for a pretty long duration. Here, in fact, let me actually take off some of my attack speed. Let's see, we'll take this off. Yeah, so that pretty much should be enough. Or if I happen to have an older... Oh, here, I'll just equip this X. So, you're probably very familiar with this. You're stuck in that animation for an excessively long time. Same thing with your flatten. Look how slow that is. And I couldn't move during that entire time. So what you want to do, guys, and obviously this benefits fat more and more the more attack speed you get, is you want to continually hit axe block as you release that skill. So as you can see, I get out of that Thunderstrike animation very, very quickly. As you can see right here, I'm getting out of that flatten animation very, very quickly. What this allows you to do is move on to your next KD, move on to your next burst, move on to your next shout, your next skill. And this is, so the main things with Berserker PvP, guys, is knowing, accept the duel, please. The main things is knowing how to KD, so knowing what skills KD, your Thunderstrike KDs, your Flatten KDs, your new Raise skill KDs, and you typically want to aim like right above their head whenever you're using that skill, by the way. These are going to be the skills that can force knockdowns. Most of the time, you're pretty much strictly going to be using Thunderstrike unless you get into a full KD combo. Don't randomly just throw rays out, like, because people are going to be moving around, and it's kind of a slower animation, so you're more than likely not going to hit it unless you can kind of predict where they're running. But for the most part, you need to learn what KDs. So what KDs? Your Thunderstrike, your Flatten, your Raise. Or sorry, not Raise, your Tackle. Axe Toss, basically. And then you need to learn how to stagger. Staggering means using that auto block. Using a single tap Cyclone. Every tick of Cyclone is going to be staggering. Okay? So if you want to cause a little bit of a hassle, and you're peeling for your healer, you can stagger on top of their team. Sometimes it actually KDs, but it's very rare for Cyclone to fully KD. But you can stagger with every tick of Cyclone, or every other tick, realistically. Great for peeling it for your teammates. So you need to learn what KDs, how to KD combo. In other words, capitalize when their Retaliate is down. How to axe block with both your staggers and your actual skills. And whenever you're once you get those the three basics, this is whenever you start grouping them together. Whenever I say grouping them together, that means you're going to start using those staggers with a KD. A lot of times, players will be fighting you, right? You'll be fighting, you'll be fighting, you'll be fighting. And then what you do as a Berserker to start setting up those combos, to start really fighting, is you stagger them with a single tap of your auto attack, and then you single tap Thunderstrike. This forces them a KD. Like, you can watch right here. She will not be able to get away from this. That forces that. Then she's going to retell. She's going to start running. Boom. You now have her into an entire KD chain. This is where your damage can start coming out. I'm really bad at this game. And then, of course, once they have that up again, you're going to be chasing and chasing and chasing. Honestly, as a Berserker, your main goal in PvP, if you're doing like 3 versus 3 or solo queue, or even Corsairs, you want to focus a lot more on just harassing the healer, using your staggers, using, you know, your single tap Thunderstrikes. Don't really go in for like, I'm going to go one-shot everybody, because that ends up just not really working very well. So once again, you pretty much start melding everything together. You utilize your staggers to start the chains of your KDs. You utilize your axe block to maximize the damage output you're going to have. Oh. You utilize your axe block to maximize the damage output. Because if you're stuck in an animation, you're not going to be able to do anything. If you don't axe block cancel, watch, I'll auto attack here and not axe block cancel, or here. Blink away whenever I just stagger you here. If I just single tap that and then go into a Thunderstrike right after, she's going to get away. You have to shorten that animation with your axe block. Otherwise, they will get away from you. Okay? Other skills that you really always need to take note of. As a Berserker, dash you almost always want to have. We don't have a lot of gap closers, guys. We pretty much just have to chase people down, but we're running very quickly with our dash skill, so you have to essentially chase them, blocking at the right time. One more thing. Let's see. Other than that, you're essentially going to be using dash, Mocking Shout. Mocking Shout is huge, guys. What this does is this makes you immune to knockdowns and staggers. So as you can see, she can't KD me or stagger me, because with a Berserker, you're charging up. You're using, I'm watching you. Whenever you're a Berserker and you're charging up to try and go for a hard hit, a single knockdown will pretty much completely stop you from being able to do anything. So, Mocking Shout whenever you plan on going offensive. Flurry of Blows is massive. Flurry of Blows makes it to where everything's 40% charge speed now, which is absolutely insane, because it's going to speed up your charging speed. She's not going to be able to get away. You see here, I almost have a full... This is what happens whenever you fight a Mystic, actually. Because they're just going to be jaunting around the entire time and fearing you. If you can predict a Mystic's just playstyle, or if you can predict what they're going to do, that's pretty much the way that you have to end up fighting them. Because you have to block their stun balls, you have to block their fears, their sleeps, and all of that. So, one more quick thing to note, guys, is Evasive Smash. If you're leveling a Berserker, you get the skill at around level 60. Let's find it right in here. You get the skill at around level 60. A lot of people view this as your... A lot of people view this as like your instantaneous, like, I'm going to one-shot you skill. But I view it in a much, much different sense. I view this skill as a gap closer for one. So I can use it like that to get close to my close to them if I need to. But then one more thing, a lot of people have heard probably the term iframe. What this is, guys, is it's an invulnerability frame. It's a short time period in which your character cannot be targeted by spells, cannot be hit by the enemy, cannot be done. Nothing can happen to them. So what you want to do, guys, is you want to utilize this iframe, this invulnerability frame, to dodge certain skills. If you're in Corsairs, you use it to roll through and not get hit by tank shots. If you're chasing after a healer, is your sleep up?
Yeah.
Okay, sleep me. If a healer is going to target you with the sleep, you can avoid it by doing that. I just iframed that sleep by rolling out of it instead of having to block it. Instead of having to, line of sight it, anything like that, I used my iframe. There are only two iframes that a Berserker has. It's going to be the roll on your Evasive Smash, alright? Only the roll, or the Unbreakable skill. Where is that? Right here. The casting animation, here, knock me down. The casting animation of Unbreakable. You typically don't use Unbreakable as an iframe, but it is something you can maybe work with. So once again, guys, just kind of a quick overview. The main things you want to know about is what KDs, which is going to be... Stop it. Your Thunder Strike. Your Flatten. And then lastly, your raise. Quit trying to jaunt that. So those are the three things, and that's what you want to kind of mash together to KD combo whenever you know their Retaliate is down. As a good Berserker, you are going to have that internal timer ticking in your head of when their Retaliate is going to come back pretty much always. And so maximize that time that they're on the ground and they can't do anything about it. Other than that, you need to learn how to stagger. If you're, once again, if you are a new Berserker, I expect you to be out randomly. If you're AFK in Velica, I expect you to be doing this. I expect you to be auto-attacking and blocking over and over and over again, because you need to learn how to utilize this skill set. Also, if you're ever watching my stream on twitch.tv/Kilrian, you see me in PvP, I am never going to take this full animation. I'm never going to be stuck in Flatten the entire time. I'm never going to be stuck in Thunderstrike the entire time. I am always going to be shortening that animation and moving on. Alright guys, hopefully you found this video basically informational. If you happen to have any more Berserker questions, or if you think I did miss something, talk down below in the comment section below. I do plan on probably making like an intermediate guide, which is going to go more into like the full scale of your KD chains, you know, when to properly use like different skills. But this is a video intended for the beginners. This is a video intended for the people who are leveling a Berserker or just hitting 65 as Berserker and wondering, how do I fight? Alright guys, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to follow me on Twitch @Kilrian, on Twitter @Kilrian, because that'll automatically update anytime I start streaming or upload a YouTube video. And yeah, don't forget to leave a like if you found this video informational. Thank you all for watching, and y'all have a good night.